Now, there's a reason why you want your ladder to extend up past the roof, 2 or 3 rungs like that. So you have something to hang on to when you're mounting and dismounting. So as you reach the top of the ladder, you hang on to the top edge of the ladder, step over the side, onto the roof. I'm still holding onto the ladder, and push up and walk up on the roof. Going down, same thing, in reverse. Approach the ladder from the side, one hand on there, swing your leg around. I like to put it on the rung below where the ladder is touching the roof. Just a little more stable than being up here on this rung. So put it down there, swing your other leg around, place the other leg on the next rung down, and begin your descent. Once on the roof, enjoy the view. This is the only place we have an ocean view. Right there. And being up here gives you an opportunity to inspect as well. You can look for any loose or damaged shingles, nails. Check the condition of the roof vents, flashings. Check the chimney for cracks. You know, there's a lot you can look at while you're up here. So this stuff is your best friend up here on the roof. It's a black mastic plastic cement for repairing and sealing roofs, like it says. You can see that my chimney flashing here, it actually was leaking once upon a time, and I had to give it a little attention over on this side. Right there, just using some of this same black mastic that I'm going to use to patch up the little flaws in the roof. Now, anytime you are removing moss, you might find that some of it is pretty deeply rooted. As you can see right here, when that moss came off, it actually left a little bit of the underside fiberglass paper part of the shingle exposed. You don't want that. That's a potential leak waiting to happen. So anywhere you find that, you want to just put a little dab of this black mastic over it, smooth it out, and that'll ensure that it doesn't leak. Carry it with you while you're doing the moss removal, and as you spot these things, you can repair them on the go. As you're walking around, feel with your feet for soft spots. If you have any rotten plywood, you want to identify it now and get it fixed. Anyway, it does get very hot up here. That sun is really beaming down right now. It's just about noon here, and it's hot up here. You can see from my shadow I'm wearing a hat, nice wide brim hat. What you can't see is I'm wearing SPF 45 sunscreen as well. And I've also got some shoes with a decent tread so that I'm not going to slip on anything up here. Those are all things you want to have. And if you have fall protection, use it. By all means, use it. Anything is better than nothing. Even if that means tying a rope around the chimney here, stringing it over top of the peak, tie the other end to yourself so you just barely reach the edge. At least then you can't fall over, right? It may not be the most professional fall protection in the world, but it's better than nothing. If you're a little nervous working around the edge, you can always sit on your butt and scoot over there. You only need to be within an arm's length of the edge, and if you're sitting down, should be pretty comfortable. But if you're at all uncomfortable standing on the roof, I'd suggest that you get someone else to do this job for you. Oh, I guess I have to give you the obligatory wildlife shot while I'm up here. She's looking for the salad bar, which is in the back of the house. We used to call it the garden. So this here is the before picture of my roof. Lots of moss on there. You can see it's even clogging up the gutters. Grown so much in there. It gets in here, grows underneath the edge of the shingle, starts to lift the shingle, and it also starts to eat away at the shingle. You'll see some of the spots that I have to patch with black mastic because of that. You want to get all this stuff off and clean up that edge nicely. We don't want to leave any in there or in front of it because that can help trap water and form ice dams. And if you get an ice dam in front here, the water will actually back up underneath the shingle and cause a leak up in here somewhere. Okay, here is the big secret, my methodology for cleaning moss off with minimal damage to the shingles. So I take my putty knife, it's well rounded by now. You can actually file it round like that if you don't want to damage them. And by the time you're done, trust me, even a brand new putty knife is going to look like this. There's so much abrasive material on these shingles, it just sands it right down. Anyway, take that putty knife, insert it under the edge of the shingle like this, and just slide it along to cut that seal underneath. And you see I'm kind of lifting it. What I'm doing is cutting the actual roots, if you will, of the moss where it's bonded to the shingle underneath. And then I take the edge of my putty knife and just, how well you can see that, just run it along here, along the edge, and break that edge seal. When you're done with that, you take the little whisk broom and there you go. Nice and clean. You'll still have a little bit in some of the vertical grooves. You can just take the edge of the knife and work it out a bit, break it up, maybe scrape a bit like this. A little sweep, and it's all done. Just keep working your way from the top down to the bottom. Sweep all the debris down to the bottom and over the edge, and then you've got a bit of a cleanup when you're done. Make sure that you're taking your putty knife and cutting underneath without lifting the shingle too much, and take your time. You don't want to cut them. That's where the rounded edge comes in kind of handy. You want to cut the moss, not the shingle. Once you've got it all broken free, it's quite easy to just sweep it away. Once we've got it all looking like that, then we could apply a commercial moss killer. Of course, the the zinc strip along the top edge. That in the long term is going to help keep the moss down. Anyway, back to business. This is the part that I've done so far. Here you can see the work in progress. My special tool and my special cleanup tool. Run this under the leading edge of the shingles just to loosen all that moss. Then turn it on its side. Run it again vertically along the leading edge. If there's any big chunks, just knock them loose like that. You're trying to be really careful here and not damage the shingles. We're trying to prevent damage caused by moss, so it really doesn't make sense if we're causing our own damage in doing so. So easy touch, light touch. Don't lift the shingles too much. You can see I sometimes turn it on its side, sort of on about a 45-degree angle to the shingle, and just scrape along the line just to clean out those little grooves along here. These are actually just a decorative tab on the shingle. It doesn't actually go through right there, but I still don't want the moss on it. So what I'm talking about is these little tabs here. They're formed into the shingle. Now there's actually a full layer of shingle underneath there, so I'm not really worried about leaks down here. I just don't want to give the moss anywhere to get a foothold. And you can see right there, I've caused a little bit of an area there and there where I need to do a little touch up with the mastic. So I'll grab that right now. It's over here. And that's an area that I've already done right there. So it's good to just kind of carry this along with you. You can do these touch-ups as they appear. A putty knife would be easier, but I'm too cheap to waste a $1.99 putty knife on this, so I just use a stick. There we go. That's all you need to do. Just cover over the damaged area, smooth it out a little bit, make sure there's no big hump here at the end to hold the water back. You want the water still to be able to flow down there. And that's it. We carry on now. I've almost got this roof beat. Quite a bit of it already complete. I should be done in another half hour. Looking pretty good down below there. That's my garage, that lower part. That used to be as bad as this. Just this morning. Yeah, there's another one. This one's right on the very leading edge of the shingles, so it's probably not a big deal. If that was higher up here, then there's potential it could get in behind this shingle down here, whose top edge is somewhere up around here. So you don't want it to leak in there and get underneath that and run underneath all the shingles. So all you have to do with this stuff is take a little dab on a stick, putty knife or whatever. I use a stick because I don't want to ruin yet another putty knife. And then just dab it over top of the area to be repaired. Don't really need to worry about using too much of this stuff. I'm struggling because I'm trying to hold the camera at the same time. There we go, now I've got some coverage. Just smooth it out so you don't have a big lump forming a dam here. You want the water to be able to still flow down there. And while you're up here, this is a good idea that the previous owner did on our house. You see these covers over top of the eaves troughs. They managed to keep all the needles and leaves out and allow the water through. And you can buy them for a very steep price at the building supply store, or you can do what this fellow did. He just took some of this aluminum soffit material, which comes in a 3 or 4 panel variety. Get the 4 panel. The panels are probably the right width then. And you just slit it lengthwise with a utility knife and then screw it in place. You can see here he's used stainless steel screws, which is a good idea. They're just short ones, 1/2 inch long. And that effectively keeps all the garbage out of your gutters. And that is just a metal strip you can buy at a building supply store. It's either made of zinc or plated with zinc. Slip it underneath the top row of shingles. You may have to pry them loose a little bit with the putty knife. Nail it about every 4 feet. I'm going to put some black tar, asphalt tar over top of those nails when I'm done. What this strip does is it gradually erodes and chemical will wash down the roof and help to keep the moss under control. Alright, there is the finished product. Nice and clean. Spick and span all over. Now this here is the south side. I don't get much moss on the south side, so I only give it a cursory cleaning. This is the north side. Gets all the moss. This is the one that looked so nasty before. You see the electrical entrance right there. Remember all that moss around there? Looks pretty good now, doesn't it? And there's my zinc strip all the way along that side of the roof. That should help. In the long run, keep it down. And you can see a couple of spots that I patched with that asphalt mastic cement. That's it. Job well done, and it was easy, right? Only took a couple hours. Got burnt to a crisp. I think I recommend something stronger than an SPF 45 if you're going to be up here at this time of day. It's high noon right now. It is hot. And if I didn't mention it earlier, you want to stay well hydrated when you're doing stuff like this. Bring some water up here with you. Or better yet, get down off the roof every half hour. Seek some shade so you can cool down. Rehydrate. Because dehydration can make you get dizzy and lose your balance, and that's just not really a good thing when you're up here. Anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed that, and it's of use to you.